I'm making this video for those of you who feel behind in life. Whether you're in your 20s and you've just started your entrepreneurial journey and you feel like you should have achieved more at this stage, or maybe you've done one thing for the last 4, 6, 8 years and now you're having to make a pivot in your life and you feel like those years are wasted, that you could have used those years achieving the thing that you are now pivoting towards. I wanted to make this video for you because this is a sensation that I struggled an enormous amount with when I was younger. I used to constantly compare or create expectations of where I should be against where I was, and any difference between those expectations based on other people's reality or the reality that other people are putting on social media compared to what I had achieved up until that point is where that sensation would exist. I would constantly feel like I was behind the 8 ball in terms of what I was achieving, in terms of the business I had, the audience I'd built, the life I was living, the milestones I've accomplished, my relationships, everything felt like a point of comparison for me. And so I used to have this deep fear that I was constantly falling behind in life. Thankfully, since then, or thankfully as a result of, for one, therapy, but also slowly starting to recognize my own accomplishments, continuing to work for the amount of years that I've been working, I'm now in a place where I can comfortably say that, one, I'm proud of the life that I've built. I'm proud of the success that I've built. I'm proud of everything else I've built, and I no longer feel like I'm falling behind. So in today's video, I wanted to share what I feel like is a unique perspective, because I've been there. I've been in that place where I'm constantly comparing my progress and where I'm at to where everyone else is at and feeling behind. But I now no longer feel that way. And I've learned a number of lessons since that time that I wish I could go back and tell my younger self. And so in today's video, I wanted to share those lessons with you. But in case this is the first time you're stumbling across this channel and you're new here and you're wondering, who is this guy and why should I listen to him? My name's Noske. I'm a content creator and have been for the last 8 years. And in the last 2 years, I've built my online education business from 0 to 7 figures per year. And now with this YouTube channel, I'm trying to make videos that help some of you to do the same. So let's get into it. The first lesson I wanted to share is that you're not behind, you're just early. The very fact that you are worried about this, the very fact that you are watching this video, that you were intrigued enough by the title, the thumbnail, whatever, this topic as a whole, the very fact that you are here right now means that you are on the path to achieving what you want to achieve. You are actively trying to build yourself into the person that you want to become, and that is progress. It might not be as much progress as you want. It might not be that you've achieved the things that you want to achieve. You might still feel like you should be further along, but that is progress. The fact that you care about this at all means that you're not behind, you're just early. You haven't been doing this long enough. If you were actually behind and you weren't doing anything to build yourself into the person you want to become, you wouldn't care about this video enough to watch it. You wouldn't be here right now. And so by understanding that, yes, you may not have achieved as much as you wanted in your first year, in your first 2 years, hell, in your first 5 years, you might not be as far along as you want to be. But the fact that you care about this at all means that you are on the path, and that is a signal of progress. You've made more progress than most people by simply caring about this topic, by simply wanting to be the person that you want to become. By understanding that delta, you are at least 1 or 2 steps along that path. And that's something that you can be proud of. Lesson number 2 is that you're comparing yourself to a reality that isn't real. Most of the time, this feeling of feeling behind is due to comparison. It's the delta between where you expect to be based on the expectations or the reality that you think you're seeing in other people compared to where you are. Maybe you see a young 20-something on social media that's driving a crazy car or living in a crazy house or doing crazy things, and you think that's what you're supposed to be. But the thing you need to understand is that everything that you see online has gone through some kind of filter. Even these videos that you're watching from me, as much as I try to make them real and authentic, and I try to remove as many of the filters as I possibly can, this is still fake. And it's fake because the amount of time required from idea to you watching a video online, there are so many hurdles that I have to go through in order for that to happen. Whether it be the idea not being good enough, whether it be the idea not being inspiring enough in the moment, whether it be me just feeling the friction to sit down here and film based on how I'm feeling on any given week. I was worried that I hadn't had a haircut in the last 3 weeks and was thinking about not filming today. So everything you see from me, even though I try my best to be real and authentic online, isn't real. And so reminding yourself of that fact, reminding yourself that everything you see online has gone through some kind of filter. It doesn't mean there's malicious intent. It doesn't mean that these people have bad intentions and they're lying to you. It just means that it's just incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to share every single thing that happens in someone's life on social media. So you are only getting a tiny, tiny slither of that person's entire existence when you see them online. So what you're comparing yourself to, the progress you're comparing yourself to, the life that you think that person has, most of the time is just a tiny, insignificant representation of that person's entire existence. Yeah, they might have the success that you want, but you might have a better life than them. You might be happier than them. You might be fitter and healthier than them. You just don't know. And the easiest way to demonstrate this, the easiest way to actually get this across to you, is if you were to look at a pie chart of your entire existence, and then you were to figure out how much of that pie chart someone could understand about you based on what you post online, what would that be? If you're watching this video, you're probably someone who posts a lot of content online. If you've followed me online, you are undoubtedly, probably a content creator. But what percentage of your entire existence could someone understand on a deep level based on the content you post online? I don't know your answer, but my answer would be less than 10%. And I share a lot online. So you can comfortably take that pie chart of yours, whether it be 10%, 15%, 5%, 2%, take that pie chart and put that on every other single person that you see online. Because we're all pretty similar. So the reality that you're seeing on social media that you are building your point of comparison against isn't real. And understanding that should give you the confidence to know that, yeah, they might have some things more than you. They might have more money, more success, more whatever. But most of the time, they're going through some of the same things that you're going through and you would never know about it. So try to remember that. Lesson number 3 is you're not as far behind as you think. Debt is just cheap. This one is blunt, but there is a giant difference between being successful and putting on an image that makes you look successful. Faking the lifestyle that you are comparing yourself to that's making you feel behind is way cheaper than you think. Anyone can portray an image of success if they spend 80 to 90% of their income doing so. Stop putting these Lamborghini driving, penthouse apartment renting influencers on a pedestal. Because most of the time, they are in crippling amounts of debt, spending 80 to 90% of their income, and are very actively destroying their future. They are not the kind of people you want to compare yourself to. But they are doing this because by showing off a lifestyle that isn't real, they are hoping they'll trick you into feeling behind, and that sensation of feeling behind will make you then invest in the things that they sell. Going into crippling amounts of debt to own a supercar in your 20s is not admirable. Renting a penthouse apartment for tens of thousands of dollars a month is not admirable. Spending 80 to 90% of your income that you're making off the business that you're starting is not admirable. Stop putting these people on a pedestal and stop comparing yourself to what you see on social media, because most of the time it's not real. Lesson number 4 is that success without struggle is often short-lived. In almost every situation that I've seen, both in my personal life and externally, the faster someone succeeds, the harder they fall. I've been doing this a long time. I started creating content back in 2016. And over that entire time, I've met an enormous amount of people, probably hundreds of people that I've met personally, whether it be actual friendships that I've built with people or just friendships that I've built online. And over that entire time, there is probably less than a dozen of them that were around 6 to 8 years ago that are still doing this today. And those are the people that are successful. And there is no difference between that dozen that became successful and the rest in terms of skill, in terms of talent, in terms of work ethic, in terms of money, in terms of unfair advantages, nothing. The only difference is that the people that are successful are still doing this today and the people that aren't. I knew people back in the day in 2016, 2017, 2018 that were way more talented than I was, achieved way more success, way quicker, gained 10 times more followers, made 10 times more money, had everything going for them, and they're just not doing this anymore. And so understanding that fact that success that is built slowly will often last longer than success that is built quickly should give you the confidence to know that you're on the right path if you're building something slowly. The reason being is that when you succeed slowly or fail a lot before you get to succeed, you build the resilience and competence necessary to maintain your success. Because success is not this place that you'll get to and then you just get to ride off into the sunset and do that one thing for the rest of your life. Success is a place that you get to that you will then probably have to work twice as hard to maintain. Yeah, you'll achieve more, you'll have more leverage, you'll probably make more money for the time that you're working, but maintaining that success doesn't get any easier. And when people succeed quickly, they build up a false expectation of what that success means and how difficult that success was to achieve. And that gives them a false sense of security when they're there. They achieve something quickly, they go, wow, that was pretty easy. And so they stop working. And when they stop working, things begin to fail. And when things begin to fail, they have no idea how they got there. And so they have no idea how to get to the next place. But when you've been kicked in the teeth and you've got a few failures on your belt, then you know when you do succeed that you need to keep working twice as hard in order to maintain it. And if it does start to fail, if things start to disappear, you know you can get back here because you already failed dozens of times getting here in the process. The amount of confidence I have today, because it took me 8 years and dozens of failures to get here, is that I know, as much as I know the sun will come up in the morning, that what I'm doing right now won't work forever. The business I have now will stop making money at some point. But I don't give a fuck about that because I know that I have the competence and the resilience to figure out the next thing. And the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And that confidence is what creates long-lasting success. If someone achieves something in a year, there is no world where you can't completely eclipse that person's success over the next 10, 20, 30 years. So play the long game. Study the examples of people that have been doing this for a bloody long period of time that didn't succeed quickly. One of my favorite examples is Tim Ferriss. I am more motivated by someone like Tim Ferriss than pretty much every creator who's popped up in the last 2 to 3 years. Because I know, as much as I know the sun will come up in the morning, that 90 to 95% of the creators that are around now will not be doing this in 10 years. Meanwhile, Tim Ferriss wrote the 4-Hour Workweek based off the content he was producing online to his email newsletter in 2007. He has been a prolific creator for 20 plus years. So following his guidance is much more motivating to me than following some kid who popped up 2 years ago who thinks he's a shit. And lesson number 5, and probably my favorite to be honest, is that the struggle will make the story so much better. This one isn't a tactical tip. It's probably not going to help you right now. But I hope one day that you understand that the struggles that you're going through, all the setbacks you've been through, the amount of times you've been kicked in the teeth, all the failures that you've had to overcome, all of those things are what will make your story incredible. And I wish more than anything that I could go back to my younger self when I was thousands of dollars in credit card debt, when I was considering quitting everything, when I had to move back in with my parents because my business was failing and my long-term girlfriend broke up with me. I wish I could go back to that person and go, this is the part of the story that will make your success that much more incredible. Because then at least in the moment I could have gone, yeah, this sucks. Yeah, I fucking hate this. Yeah, I have no idea if I'm going to be successful and I have no idea when the light at the end of the tunnel is going to appear, but at least I get to recognize that this is the part of the story that I'll look back on one day and gone, holy hell, that makes the story pretty fucking awesome, right? So try to remind yourself, if you are being kicked in the teeth, maybe you're going through a failure right now, maybe you're going through a setback, maybe you're unsure if you're going to be able to figure this out. Try to remind yourself that this is the part of the story that makes the come up, the success, the win that much more satisfying to watch. So try to remember, if you're going through it right now, that this will one day make your story incredible. And you're not behind, you're just in the part of the story where we're building up to the hero's success. So I hope this video helps, and I'll see you in the next one.